Now, Aberdeen has rebranded to Aberdeen. Same word, different spelling. And what a piece of timing that was, because Morningstar's manager research team has just completed a parent pillar review of the company's fund management proposition. Here to tell me all about that and more is Michael Bourne from that team. Michael, thank you so much for being with us. There have been some quite horrendous headwinds for Aberdeen recently, haven't there? We've seen a longer term horrendous share price performance, massive staff turnover, outflows. But your assessment is that things aren't that bad now. Tell me more.
Yeah, I think cautiously optimistic might set the tone for our view. But yes, it's notwithstanding, it's worth going over the challenges. They have been huge. I mean, you've seen really poor performance in many strategies, but particularly some of the, I guess, core strengths historically, and mass outflows, which admittedly has been maybe not so much the performance of those strategies, but just kind of real structural headwinds, as you alluded to. I would say that the last few quarters you've seen some really quite strong, well, I guess relatively strong results from the group, and I think a return to kind of net inflow across overall at the group level. The only thing I guess I would point out there is that equities are still really challenged, and where they've kind of been saved, areas like quantitative strategies, liquidity, and passive products, these are kind of lower margin areas. But I think the fact that this cost-cutting program that they've been enacting for a few years, the fact that they've actually returned to net profitability at a time when you've still had a lot of these structural and cyclical headwinds, I think does speak well to what's going on with the leadership. Obviously, you had this big change with the previous CEO, Stephen Bird, departing, and the headline-grabbing revoweling of the group. I do think that it's probably the right move. It was obviously becoming quite a distraction. So hopefully that's kind of behind them, and just focusing on what they have been doing that has been working. So core strengths, turning around performance, and I guess fixing some of these structural challenges.
And on the parent pillar review, I mean, just in simple terms, explain what the parent pillar review is and what are your conclusions as regards Aberdeen?
Yeah, sure. So when we're looking at reviewing managers, reviewing funds, one aspect of that is what do we think about the parent? It's a relatively small percentage of the overall rating, but still we're looking kind of, I guess, longer term. What's the outlook for the group? Is it supportive of managers? At least in terms of the way that we rate it, the most important part is probably on kind of culture, where as it speaks to like retention, do they have leading products and can kind of, I guess, encourage stability, encourage kind of managers to stick around. I think, kind of cautiously optimistic, I'd say, would be the mood music with Aberdeen. They appear to be making some headway on performance, notwithstanding the issues around equities and EM and Asian equities. But these are, I guess, geographies with a lot of structural, cyclical challenges which aren't going away anytime soon. So if the group can still return to profitability and inflows, then I think it does bode well.
A very good sign. And finally, I have to ask, are you on Team Vowel or Team No Vowel?
So I think it created a lot of confusion. I think I was maybe never the biggest fan of the group, but I will say it was easy to Google it. Now, If you search Aberdeen, I think you're going to get quite a few results.
Okay, well, I'm looking forward to spelling the actual word, so I think perhaps we agree. Thank you so much, Michael. For more on Aberdeen's progress and indeed all of our manager research, check out morningstar.co.uk. Until next time, my thanks again to Michael. I've been Ollie Smith for Morningstar.